One question, two views. You decide.
And today, we are diving into one of the greatest engineering mysteries of all time. All right, so you know how this works. We're not here to push an agenda or tell you what to believe. Our job is simple. We lay out the best, strongest arguments from both sides of a debate. We give you the facts, the logic, and then, well, it's up to you. You're the judge. And today's question, wow, it's a big one. We're talking about the Great Pyramid of Giza. You've seen the pictures, this absolute marvel of the ancient world that has just stumped experts for centuries. But the real mystery, the thing that keeps people up at night, is this. Could they really have built that entire colossal structure in just 20 years? Okay, so let's get right into it. This whole massive debate really comes down to two totally opposite ways of looking at it. In one corner, you've got the view that says, look, the tools, the labor organization, the pure genius we know they had back then, it was enough. They could do it. But in the other corner, you have the skeptics saying, hold on a second. They argue that, yeah, those systems were great for smaller stuff, but they would have just completely buckled under the sheer insane pressure of building the Great Pyramid at that speed. That's the core of the fight, and we're going to break it down across three key arguments. All right, first up, let's talk about the production rate. The pure, non-stop, relentless pace of it. I mean, could they really have kept that up for 20 solid years? So get ready for this, because when you actually do the math, it is, well, it's just staggering. We're talking 2.3 million blocks. To get that done in 20 years, assuming a 10-hour workday every single day, that means you have to quarry, shape, haul, and perfectly set a multi-ton stone block every 2 minutes, non-stop for 20 years. Just let that sink in for a second. So, the big question is, how is that even remotely possible? Well, one side says that one block every 2 minutes number is totally misleading. It makes you think of a single conveyor belt. But the reality, they say, was thousands of teams working all at the same time, in parallel. It's not one line, it's a whole swarm of activity. But the other side, they look at that same number and say, no way. It's an impossible dream. It assumes perfect, 100% efficiency. No breaks, no mistakes, no delays for 20 straight years. That's just not how the real world works. Okay, let's get into the weeds here. The folks who believe the 20-year timeline is possible, they point to this amazing organizational structure called the file system, these highly organized work gangs. They argue that if you have that many people working that efficiently, hitting a daily quota of, say, 300 to 500 blocks is, well, it's not even that hard. But the counter-argument is all about friction, the little things that grind a project to a halt. Just think about the tools. We're talking soft copper chisels, thousands of them, going dull constantly. You'd need a whole separate army of people just collecting them, sharpening them, and getting them back to the workers. That logistical nightmare alone, they argue, would create a bottleneck so huge it could stop everything.
All right, that brings us to our second big point of contention, the ramp problem. This is a pure physics and engineering challenge. How in the world do you move millions of tons of rock up?
So one view is that the ancient engineers were incredibly clever and adaptable. They didn't just build one giant brute force ramp. No. They probably used a modular system. Start with big wide ramps for the massive lower levels, and then maybe reuse those materials to build a more efficient spiral, or even an internal ramp as they got higher. But the other side says, hold on. They see fatal bottlenecks in every single ramp design people have come up with. A single straight ramp? It'd have to be so huge, it would be a bigger project than the pyramid itself. And a spiral one? Imagine the traffic jams at every single corner. It would just kill your momentum.
And this is where we get to the real physics of it. One side points to this incredible discovery. If you wet the sand just right in front of a hauling sledge, it cuts the friction by half. That is a total game changer. It means you could use smaller teams on steeper ramps, making the whole ramp system way more efficient. But the skeptics come back with a hard dose of reality, throughput. That's just a fancy word for how many tons you can move per hour. And they say once you get up to 100 meters or more, the sheer energy required to keep that schedule it's just not possible for human beings. It doesn't matter how slippery the sand is, your delivery speed is going to fall off a cliff.
Okay, on to our third and final battleground. And this one is fascinating. It's called work site saturation. Basically, what happens when the place you're working, the top of the pyramid, keeps shrinking.
Is it a feature or is it a bug? One side says the shrinking platform is a brilliant natural part of the plan. Think about it. Most of the pyramid stone is in the bottom third, so as you get higher, you need way fewer blocks per level. It makes perfect sense to scale down your workforce to match. It's planned efficiency. But the other side sees it as a catastrophic limitation. A tiny, windy, super dangerous platform means you can only have one team working at a time. You go from mass production to a single file line. They argue that your efficiency doesn't just go down a little, it completely collapses.
So you end up with two completely different pictures of the final years of construction. View 1 says the pace just slowed down exactly as planned to keep the project on its 20-year timeline. No problem. But View 2 says that completely ignores the brutal math of time cost. Just think about how long it takes to get one worker, one sharp tool, or even just a drink of water all the way up to the top. That time grows and grows exponentially. And that massive, unavoidable drop in efficiency, they say, makes hitting that 20-year deadline literally impossible.
All right, so there you have it. We've looked at the three core areas where the two sides just can't agree.
And it all brings us right back to where we started, with that one massive question. Could they really have built the Great Pyramid in just 20 years?
It all seems to boil down to these three key battlegrounds, right? The insane production rate they had to maintain, the physics of the ramp problem, and the challenge of work site saturation as they got higher and higher.
So, we've laid out the logic for both sides, and we've tried to give each argument its strongest possible voice. Like we said at the top, we don't take a position here. The whole point is to give you the information so you can make up your own mind.
And now it's over to you. What do you think? After hearing all this, which argument makes more sense to you? Was it possible or not? Drop your take in the comments below. We really want to know what you think. And hey, while you're at it, let us know what other big questions you want us to tackle next.